Welcome to the call, the one and only Mr. David Nieves. Welcome, sir.
Miss Alicia, can you hear me? Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Just had to ask. My internet was acting kind of funny. Well, thank you so much for that incredible explanation of the business. I mean, I say it every week, and I keep saying it, that you are probably it's my favorite presentation because it's so precise and it's just so perfectly put and very relatable that you are. So thank you very much for everything that you do and the example that you're giving for every single one of us, leading the way, being a boss lady, and you're truly an example for the entire organization of GPS. And I just can't wait to see your promotion 200K in the near future. So thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Excited to be here with every single one of you. My name is David Nieves, and I see we have a lot of people from all over the place, all over the world. So thank you for hopping on. We're going to start our training portion. So tell you a little bit about my story. I've been in the industry now going on 13 years. And I was actually introduced to the industry a long time ago, but really dove in the industry when I met Mr. Danny Bay 13 years ago, almost 14 years ago. And I remember meeting that individual, and I just got excited about the possibilities of what can happen in my life. I looked at that individual, Mr. Danny Bay, and I said, wow, here's an example. Here's somebody that it could be a model for me, that could be a mentor, that could lead the way for me. And I remember I started working on those skills, but just like anything in life where you're brand new, it takes a little bit of time, doesn't it? So it took me a little bit of time to really get going. But finally, after, thanks to the principles that Mr. Bay taught me, we were able to, essentially, we parted ways, but those lessons, it's interesting. The lessons that you learn in this industry, especially in this business, you're going to be able to apply them in every area of your life, because I was able to take those lessons and start a traditional business. I actually started 3 fitness studios, gyms, when my plan was to franchise them. But one day, and I was running real successful. I have hundreds of members in each of my gym. But one day I got into an accident. And I remember one day a mentor of mine said, David, if you have an income or a business that depends on you being there, you're automatically in trouble, because the moment you're not there, what happens? Income stops. That's what happened to me. And I get into an accident, I break both my legs. I ended up in a wheelchair for almost 6 months. I was crawling throughout my house. But here's what happened. Even though my body was broken, I had gone into the habit of personal development. I have gone into the habit of reading books. So I took those 6 months, 5.5 months as an opportunity to strengthen my mind. I said, maybe my body's broken. I can't leave my house. I lost my business because I was not able to tend to them. Now my car got in repo status, true story. I was hiding my car in my next door neighbor's garage at the time. This was 6.5 years ago, because it was in repo status. My garage broke and I couldn't pull it down, and it was terrible. But here's what happened. I started developing my mindset. I started working and started reading, and I read over 100 different personal development books in that 5.5 months. I became a reading, studying machine, because I told myself, hey, my body's broken, but my mind's functioning. And what I want to do, I want to get as soon as I'm back on my feet, I'm going to find an opportunity and I'm going to go make it happen. And this is exactly what happened. From that moment, after those 100 personal development books and those 5.5 months of training my mind, I was able to get up from my wheelchair, and then 12 months later, make $1 million in my next business opportunity. So I tell you this because the next topic we're going to talk about is a topic of mindset, which is one of the most important topics that you can do. You can train on. You can train yourself while you're building an organization and building a business, because it's all about mindset. My mentor used to say, David, it's all about a state of mindset. And this is so true. So the first thing you have to do when you're looking at a business, when you're looking at accomplishing anything in your life, here's what you have to do. First thing, you got to make a decision. And this decision is a white hot decision. Napoleon Hill says the starting point of all achievement is a white hot burning desire. You got to find something. And for those of you who don't know who Napoleon Hill is who wrote a book, Think and Grow Rich, the most sold book and has created more millionaires than any other book out there, Think and Grow Rich. And he says, you got to make a decision. And that's the first thing you have to do. You have to make a decision. You got started in GPS for what? For something you have a goal, a dream, something that you want to fix, something, that problem that you want to solve in your life. Maybe it's to have more income, maybe, but whatever that is, you got to make a decision that this is yours, that this is it. This is it for you. That this word decision comes from the Greek word incision, which literally means to cut off all points of retreat. You got to make that decision to cut off all points of retreat. Here's my attitude, and don't take this the wrong way, but there's 33,000 GPS influencers worldwide. 33,000 GPS influencers tomorrow, they quit. I will shed a tear for everybody, but I made a decision that I'm gonna be an influencer 200K no matter what. That's my mindset. That's the way I look at it. And that's the mindset that every single one of us have to make. We have to make a decision that this is it, that we're going to make this work no matter what. What does it take? Whatever it takes. That's what it takes. So, but in the process, you got to understand that there's going to be a learning curve, just like anything in life. There's no such thing as a straight road to success in anything. This is a learning curve. You have to learn some things. You have to go through the process of learning. It's okay. Enjoy it. Steve Jobs says, enjoy the process, because the process is its own reward. The process is what creates the promise. No process, no promise. But the process is what creates the promise. And during that process, you got to have the right mental attitude. What's the attitude? You got to have a growth mindset. A growth mindset. A growth mindset says, doesn't matter where I'm at. It's a starting point. That's all that it means. It means it's a starting point, and you can get what? Better. No matter where you are in your life, you can get better. You can improve yourself. You can develop new connections in your brain that improve your skill set. And all this happens gradually, step by step, little by little. But it first starts with you making the decision to engage in the process. Here's what I want you to write this down, because this is very important. Success in this business is in the process. But the decision to engage in the process happens usually at an event. This time we're having Saturday trainings. This could be the event for you to make a decision that you will engage in the process no matter what. The success in the business in the process, but the decision to engage in the process happens at an event. And today could be your deciding day. Because in the process, once you decide, you make a decision, you're going to have to identify what's your motivation. In other words, what's your vision? Because my mentor said to me, he said, David, if you're not inspired by a vision of the future, here's what's going to happen. You will be dragged down by the memories of the past. So you got to find a vision for yourself, right? Something that you're aiming, something that you're shooting for. And most people don't like to set goals because we don't like to specify conditions of failure. Anytime you put a goal down, you're literally setting failure inside your calendar. It's okay to put failure inside your calendar. There's no such thing as a failure, by the way. You either win or you learn. You either win or you develop and acquire information that will then guide you. They're guiding posts to then guide you in the right track. So there's no such thing as failure, but you gotta go ahead and have that target, have that vision. Once you have that vision, you gotta power that vision by emotional whys. I call them eccentric goals. Goals like time with family, goals like giving to charities, right? There's also extrinsic goals, which could be a car, could be a house. These are motives. The word motivation comes from motives. The more motives you have, guess what? The more motivation you have. It's kind of simple, isn't it? So the more motives you have, the more motivations you have. And then essentially, here's what happened. Here's what's the good thing about this. It becomes a habit. Winning is a habit, but so is losing. So you get into the habit of winning. Once you start having that vision, that goal, and you start identifying what it is that you want, and you start having that clear vision, I recommend every single one of you to have a dream board. Have your dreams, have a journal, have a journal. I carry my journal everywhere with me. Here's my journal. I love it. It's nice and pretty. I actually pay a pretty penny for this because I like the way it feels. The way I see it, I tell my people that I mentor, you don't pick the journal picks you, right? It's like when you touch it, it has a little whirl. I don't even know how many journals I have. I have hundreds of journals in my house, in my library, that are notes that I'm taking from individual goals that I've written down. Do I hit every goal? Absolutely not. But I strive towards the goal. That's what's important. And in the process, you start developing an identity, because it's not just about setting a vision. It's not just about having emotional whys that empower your vision. It's also about creating an identity that empowers you. What type of identity? An identity like of a person of desire. You got to be that person that is just hungry to achieve success. Let me give you a quick story, and I'll be fast in this. When I first got started in the industry 13 and a half years ago, I met Mr. Danny Bay. Mr. Danny Bay just really, I was wowed by him. I was 25 years old at the time. He was 40 years old, so he was a year younger than me. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. This gentleman, here's somebody I can follow. And I remember I sat down with him and said, how can I improve my skill set? And he said, David, the first thing you have to do is you gotta buy a recorder. And you got to record the presentations, record the trainings, and start re-listening to them. Guess what I did? I listened to them. I recorded and I listened to his presentation over. I recorded his presentation and I hand wrote word for word his entire presentation. I memorized the entire presentation. That's called desire, my friends. That's called doing whatever it takes, because I wanted to improve my skill sets. So you got to have a desire to accomplish your goal, to have a whatever it takes attitude of preparation. Work ethic is required within any individual that wants to achieve success. Commitment is doing the thing you say you were going to do long after the mood that you set it in has left you. That's the commitment. In fact, you only practice commitment when you don't feel like doing it. That's the only time you can practice commitment. Other than that, there's no need to use that in a tool. A positive attitude, a growth mindset, enthusiasm, and urgency is necessary for you to achieve success. I have so many stories of enthusiasm and urgency that I can share with you. One day I will. But let me share with you that it's a necessity for you to be excited for what your vision in your future. That's why when you have a vision and you can clearly communicate that vision and get enthusiastic about that vision, guess what? That's energy. Energy is either positive or negative, and people are attracted to energy. Have you ever entered a restaurant and you enter the restaurant and what happens? You hear an exciting table just laughing and joking. All of a sudden, you're in that restaurant, you're looking at that table, and you're like, oh man, you're almost gravitated towards that table because they're so enthusiastic and having fun. Or you go to Las Vegas and they're playing craps. All this time, you could be gambling next to the playing blackjack, but all of a sudden you see people having been enthusiastic and excited about playing craps, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm gonna cash out here. I'm gonna go play craps on that table, because we're attracted to that type of energy. We're just drawn to urgency and enthusiastic. And finally, you gotta be coachable. You gotta have that identity that you're gonna throw everything out the window. Here's everything you know out the window and just be an empty cup. My mentor said to me, David, if you're not humble, you're on your way to being humble. You better humble yourself, sir. And I'm like, yes, sir, I will. And I was an empty cup. Yes, I'd done businesses before. Yes, I'd done sales before. Yes, I'd done all these things. But when it came to this business, I was brand new. So I emptied my cup and I said, you know what? You fill my cup up. Let's go ahead and make it happen. In the process, as I started building my business and I started working, here's what happened. People started telling me no, right? Because I was brand new. I didn't know what to say. I was timid. I didn't know the right type of verbiage. Okay. So I was hurt because my expectations were like, okay, I'm going to crush this, having success, which is great. But there's a difference between taking action and skillfully taking action. You guys can agree with me on this, right? And so the right expectations were, I had it when you have, in fact, Buddha says the beginning of suffering is expectations. So here's what I say. As you're going out there and setting your goals, having a vision, and you're taking action, you might say, okay, I'm going to talk to Johnny, Bobby, and Mary. And then Johnny, Bobby, and Mary did not get in the business like you expected. No problem. You drop those expectations and you get back on it. The moment you hold on to those expectations, oh my God, like I did, that happened to me my first week. I mean, I reached out to someone and 2 weeks later, I didn't reach out to nobody else because the first person that I reached out to was my best friend and he completely turned me down. So I felt so bad. 2 weeks later, I reached out to my next person. They turned me down. But this time, I only waited a week to reach out to the next person. My recovery time shrunk. Essentially, the next time it was my recovery time was 2 days. Then my recovery time was 1 day. Then I reached out to somebody else and my recovery time was 1 hour. Now to today, my recovery time is 0.01 second. If somebody tells me something I don't want to hear, I'm like, oh, I'm back. That's how simple it is. But you got to have the right expectations. You also have to have a long-term thinking and a no-quit attitude. There's many studies that I can share with you how long-term thinking produces long-term results. Long-term thinking produces short-term results, excuse me. So you got to have that long-term thinking mindset. And of course, and never quit. Leaders, let me tell you, followers will only follow a leader that has the commitment and conviction in the road they're walking, in the place they're leading. The system of education rewards high GPA. The system of life rewards tenacity, rewards your ability to stick with something and to put one foot in front of the other. The system of life rewards the never quit attitude. The law of averages is going to come into place. The law of averages says the more times you take action, the more times you are rejected, the more times you will succeed. It's really that simple. The universal law says this: as you are going out there and reaching your dreams and striving and stretching, right? You got to stretch. As you stretch, life is like a pendulum. The universal law is like a pendulum. As you throw your pendulum towards failure, rejection, defeat, pain, and sadness, it will equally swing to success, acceptance, joy, victory, and accomplishment. Now, if you only swing a little bit, guess what? It only swings equally to the other side. You have to swing it and just throw it. Just throw that pendulum over there. Just go all out, massive action. Why not? Why are you preserving yourself? My mentor said, I remember Danny one time asking, why are you preserving yourself? I mean, we only have one life that we know of, right? That we physically know of. Why are you preserving yourself? Let's go all out, massive action. That's the way to do it. And in the process, here's what's going to happen. You're going to find people. People are going to tell you yes. Those are the people that we're going to be working with, because all we're doing is we're sorting. We're looking for the lookers. We're looking for people. Guess what? They're looking for us. I'm looking for that individual that is looking for an opportunity. So the people that we're gonna find, yes, these are red apples. Green apples are the maybes, okay? And then there's gonna be the most rotten apples. And here's what you do. 80% of your time you spend it looking and working with red apples. 20% of your time you spend it following up and working with the maybes, and 0% of your time with the no's. Okay, you do not want to spend all the time following people. Okay, please do this with me. Come on, join my business. No. If you convince someone to join the business, you have to convince them to work the business. That's going to wear you out. Don't do that. Focus on the red apples and stay within the red apples. And guess what? When you share a good idea long enough, it falls on good people. You just got to keep sharing the idea and keep sharing the idea. One last thing, you're going to come across toxic dream stealers. This is going to happen. You can't avoid it. This is going to happen. But here's what I've learned. You got to learn, as an entrepreneur, you have to learn how to frame your future, how to frame your disappointments. And you got to learn, how are you going to frame your business? Are you going to let people that are typically don't have the lifestyle that you want to live? Because my mentor said, David, if you buy into someone's opinion, you buy into their lifestyle. And therefore, I look at the people that told me, David, that's never going to work. David, those things are a pyramid. David, those nobody makes money on those things. I look at those people and then I look at their lifestyle. I'm like, no, I will never trade places with you, buddy. So why am I going to take advice from someone that I will never take to trade places with? Well, it's okay. Some people tell you how to love. You just got to love them, okay? But you're going to come across toxic dream stealers, and it's okay. Let them, what you do, you listen to them, you push it back, and then you choose to reframe your own business, and don't let no one else reframe your business. Reframe your point of view. So let's bring this home. Here's what I want you to ask. You got to ask yourself the champion's questions. Here it is. How am I working daily to improve me? That's a question. How can I be doing more in my life? How can I be doing more? Can you do more personal development? Are you working to improve yourself? Am I giving all that I do? Am I giving 100% of me Chances are you're not. In fact, there's been many studies that we don't even reach 40 to 30% of our potential. That means we have 70% on untapped potential inside of us. And so the discovery of you is still within every single one of us, okay? What do I expect of myself? Are you expecting greatness from yourself? Are you expecting discipline from yourself? What am I focusing on? Are you focusing on opportunities? Because whatever you focus goes, energy flows. Are you focusing on the good thing in life? Before you can recruit anyone else, here's what has to happen. You got to recruit yourself, my friends. You got to have the right mental attitude, and you got to have grit. You got to have that grit. Angela Duckworth wrote an incredible book called Grit. Go find that book. Amazing. It's perseverance. It's daily activity. It's discipline that creates results in your life. And anything in life that you accomplish, whether you're going to do this business or do any other business or work anything in your life, you got to have grit. You got to have that mindset, and you got to have a champion's mindset, guys. This is my part, guys. I love every single one of you. Here's my advice. My advice is that keep sticking around. Follow the system. Here's my other advice. You got to have a growth mindset, and you got to have a mindset of preparation. I tell my team all the time, we're in the military, they're either at war or getting ready for war. In business, you're either in momentum or getting ready for momentum. It is better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have one and not be prepared. You got to be prepared for an opportunity, because here's the question, and I'll finish with this. If the next Miranda Alicia enters your business, can you coach her to become an influencer 200K? If the next Michael On enters your business, can you coach them to become an influencer 200K? With your current level of skill set, knowledge, mindset, leadership, could you lead them there? Now, that's a serious question. You got to be honest with yourself, because if not, here's what I say: let's prepare ourselves through training while we're developing momentum in your business. Just prepare yourself for momentum, because when momentum comes and that opportunity is there, you want to be ready right here. You want to have the leadership up here. You want to be ready for running with that individual, and you got to get ready. So preparation is key. So congratulations on every single one of you that right now is in this training. We're going to go and do some great, amazing things together, but we need warriors right now. We need the right type of mindset individuals. We need people that launch businesses. We need that launch, that push, that launch, that Jeff Bezos, that Elon Musk mentality. We need the entrepreneurs right now that are launching GPS with us, and we're gonna make this push to push the biggest network marketing company in the history of our industry. And 2021 is gonna be a year where we're gonna completely dominate the industry, and people are gonna be like, wow, where did you guys come from? Where did you guys come from? They're going to be wondering that. But we're going to be like, you know what? We were preparing. We were preparing in silence, because every public victory was first preceded by a private struggle. Prepare. This is the time for us to get ready. Let's get ready for momentum. And the next individual is an individual that I have the utmost respect. He's my mentor. He's a good friend of mine. I mean, I love him so much already. I can't wait to be able to travel and hug him and lift him up, because this individual, not only is he a mentors, he's also an individual that in his first official launch in GPS, made over $70,000. I mean, he won't tell you this, of course, because he's extremely humble, but I can tell you that. Made first month in GPS, has made over $70,000. Not only that, has acquired thousands and hundreds of thousands of customers in his organization, has many 20 years of experience in the industry, and has just been doing some incredible things. And he's our leader, our mentor, the one, the only, the leader of mentors, Mr. Michael On.
Mr. David Nieves, thank you so much. What an incredible mindset training you just did. Every time you train, I get so fired up. I take so many notes. Everybody in GPS appreciates you worldwide, and we are honored to have you on our leadership team. So thank you so much. Well, good afternoon to all the people from the East Coast and Central Time Zone, and good morning to people here in the West Coast. I am so fired up for all of you guys and want to welcome you guys to GPS United States team. We are right now on a leadership hunt, just like Mr. David Nieves said. We're looking for people that are hungry, that want to help us grow. And if you're someone with a burning desire, like Mr. David Nieves says, get ready for an unbelievable ride where not only can you earn money in GPS, you're going to realize what helping other people is like and enjoying the true freedom. But little quick background about myself, so we're not strangers. I've been very fortunate to done pretty well in this industry, network marketing. But I want you guys to know my success didn't happen overnight. It's only because I've been in it for years and 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 years, listening to people like Mr. David Nieves, Miss Miranda, and other great leaders, learning and just implementing the system. And if you do something long enough, you will eventually make good money in that industry. And that's what happened to me. You know, prior to GPS, I worked at Disneyland. I scooped ice cream for $8 an hour. That's the most I've ever made at any job, which was minimum wage. So if you have more experience than me in the work field or in the professional or business field, trust me, you can make things happen. But I'm gonna go over what's called our compensation plan. Why it is that we do GPS is pretty much for the money. But I was just reading this article, and this is the largest direct selling article in Korea, the direct selling news. And you know what's crazy? Just a few months ago, we came out as the only company to have made it in this article as a startup company, and that's because of our founder, Mr. Danny Bay. You know, they wrote so many incredible things about it because we're a unique company. There's a lot of direct selling companies out there in the world. It's a $180+ billion industry, but there has never been a company like ours where we are bringing technology like virtual reality, AR, as well as getting in space with e-commerce, but not just e-commerce, gonna be doing something called experience before purchase. That's all to come in the next few months, next few years of time, that I want you guys to understand you're at the very beginning. You're in our 3rd month here in the United States, and we're growing and we're identifying leaders. And here's the best part. You guys can forever remember that you got started in GPS while we only had 2 products in the United States. While in the next few months, we're gonna start adding additional products, and every single one of you guys are gonna see by Thanksgiving, Black Friday shopping, you're gonna be able to get a lot of presents through GPS. For holidays like Christmas, for all of you that celebrate, you're gonna realize soon, you're gonna be able to do Christmas shopping for your family and friends, and your customers can do the same, and you're gonna be able to make money. That's the exciting part. So what I'm gonna do is now go over the 9 ways we get paid in GPS. I'm gonna do my very best to keep it simple, but understand one thing. You're not gonna understand everything throughout this training. You're gonna have to watch it again next week. You're gonna have to watch it again. For me, it took me several weeks before I fully understand the compensation plan, but here's what you also have to take in place. Most careers require you to get an education, right? If you wanna be an engineer, you gotta go to school for 4 or 5 years before you can start working as an engineer. If you wanna become a doctor, you gotta go to school for too many years before you could really practice and become, work in the medical field, right? In our business, just know one thing. It's you learn and you earn as you go. Don't try to figure everything out and then take action. No, just make as many mistakes as you can, because I always like to tell people, whoever makes the most amount of mistakes and learn from them will eventually make the most amount of money. So let's take a look at how our business works, okay? When you get started in GPS, you're gonna be able to build 2 teams. One on the left, one on the right. The side that's gonna be bigger, because not everyone can control and balance it, is always gonna be considered your power leg. And the side that is smaller is gonna be your working leg with less volume. What I mean smaller. As of now, we have Pico G2 in the United States. Like I said, it's worth 400 business volume or influencer volume. And the BRLU subscription is worth 100 BV and 100 IV. A lot of people ask, what is the difference between IV and BV? BV will never change. IV we will have promotions and incentives in the future where we can market certain products and earn more IV to help you get promoted. So in the United States, right now, you'll earn 1% when you market a Pico G2. You'll get 2% when you market VRLU. But I want you to know that's just in the United States. But already in Korea, we have 69 different products you can market. If you have contacts in Korea, you can actually still market the 69 different products we offer in Korea and make commissions here in the United States. Starting October, like I said, we're gonna start launching products here in the United States. I can't tell you what they are, but I can tell you one thing. Mr. Danny Bay has been sharing it with some of the key leaders, and we are so excited about some of the brands and some of the items that are coming that when we do have it, some of you are gonna be blown away. I can't believe we are offering those products. I can't believe we're gonna make money on that. So get ready for that. Second way we get paid is called GIM, Group Influencer Marketing Bonus. These are what's called a cycle bonus. And how it works is like this. Every time 100 volume on the left and right shows up, it's called a cycle. If there's 200, it's called 2 cycles. And how it works is every single week, the company takes 10% of their business volume and it's divided between how many cycle existed in the company, and that would be the value. As of now, it's been roughly $3 or so. So we'll give you an example. Let's just say right here on your left for the week, you had 3 influencers, Danny, Mike, and Katie. And let's just say all 3 of them got Pico G2 and a VRLU subscription. That would generate 1,500 volume on the left team. On your right side, let's just say David and Tommy were existing influencers and they marketed a Pico this month and their VRLU subscription hit this month. That means there's 1,000 volume on your right. In this equation, that means 1,000 volume cycled because that's on the lesser side, which means there was 10 cycles total. On the stronger line over there, which is the power leg, it means you had 500 volume remaining, which will never flush and carry over every single week, no matter how big it gets, as long as you stay active in our compensation plan, which is minimum 100 business volume. So on this example here, if you cycle 10 times, just on the GIM commission, if it's worth $3, you would earn $30. Now here's what's crazy about this. The volume that gets generated on your 2 team, it's not only volume that you work towards or the people you personally enroll towards. It's everybody on that team, even if it's somebody that was placed by your upline leadership or your upline leadership, it's called a spillover. That is why we always tell people, hurry up and fill your 2 positions in, because after that, everyone that you refer, just like Ms. Miranda said, will be placed underneath the first 2 that got involved. So it's very important that it's somebody you care about, it's somebody, that is your family, your friend, your significant other, and everybody knows one thing about our compensation plan. The first 2 is like a lottery ticket, amazing position if you decide you're gonna build this aggressively. So make sure to get them started right away. Now, this is one of our most aggressive part about our compensation plan. I love this portion because you can earn so much money by helping other people become successful. We have something called the leadership match, and it's 4 generations. Now, when we mean generations, it's not 4 levels, it's 4 generations. So as an example, let's just say you become an influencer 100, then you'll earn 40% off your personal enrolled leaders, okay? Now, when I mean personal enrolled leaders, if you personally enrolled me and I don't do anything and I don't generate any money, because obviously I'm not that serious, but I lead you to one person named, let's just say Miss Miranda Alicia, and she becomes a champion and a leader in our company, and she starts earning good GIM bonus. She would be considered your level 1 because you get a check match off someone making money, not someone who's not earning money. So that would be generation 1. When you get to influencer 250, you unlock 2 generation. Now, let's just say Miranda Alicia personally enrolls Mr. David Nieves, and he starts doing extremely well. That'll be considered generation 2. But let's just say David Nieves refers somebody named Mark Isaac, and Mark Isaac doesn't do anything. But Mark Isaac leads you to Robert Griffin, and he starts making great money. That'll be considered generation 3. So do you see how generation is not level, but how someone earning money and that it's a position in GPS? That's the lucrative part, number 1. But second thing I want to share with you guys is the sponsor tree. Even though you can only have 2 direct teams, one on the left, one on the right, and we go deep, as long as you personally enroll your 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, as many as you want somewhere to benefit the entire team, on this portion, it will still be considered your generation 1 off your personal enrolled tree. So people that understand our comp plan become what's called a sponsor monster, like Mark Isaac said. And right now, the gentleman leading personal sponsor enrollment in GPS US here, I believe is Mr. Stuart Stan, at maybe a little over 50 personal enrollments. So I know a lot of people are running right now to catch up to him. There's no limit to how many people you can personally enroll. Now, here's where it gets really, really fun. I like this because it's kind of like our residual income in GPS. See, majority of the people, one thing we can agree is a paycheck to paycheck. They earn linear income. Nothing wrong with it, but even if they earn 6 figures or more every single year, the only way to generate money is if they work. If they don't work, they don't make money. They got to put in time. Most people work 40, 50 hours a week to earn a living. But here's the difference between people that are truly financially independent, and those are the people that have time because they have residual. They can make money every single month, whether they work, whether they sleep, whether they're on vacation. Why? Because they have leverage. And in our business, this is that portion. As long as your team maintains and generates the volume to stay qualified at these ranks, you'll earn the MIL bonus right there every single month. So imagine getting to Influencer 1000. All that means is you have 10,000 influencer volume on the left, 10,000 influencer volume on your right with your entire team's effort. Or easier way to put it is you have 100 people on VRLU subscription as customers enjoying the platform. They can learn every single month. They could sing every single month on our karaoke program. They could play games. They could enjoy so much more to come. If you have 100 VRLU customers on the subscription, you'll stay qualified at Influencer 1000 every month. You know what that means? You'll earn $1,000 every single 30 days just on the MIL bonus, whether you're working or not. Can you imagine how comfortable your life can be when your MIL bonus eventually gets to 2,500, 5,000, 10,000? You know, a lot of people that earn $10,000 a month have to work a lot of hours. They worked a lot of years to get to that position. You know what's amazing in GPS? We have people like Mr. Tommy Lee who hit that position first 30 days. People like Mr. Mark Isaac who hit that position first 30 days. And I'm not saying it's easy, but when the company's only 3 months old, can you imagine how many people will promote to that position by end of the year? By next year? And you know what the difference is? When most people at careers and jobs stop working, they stop earning. You know what happened to these guys? When they stop working, they'll still earn 10 grand as long as they're influencer 10K. Every 30 days. That's the beautiful part about GPS. And we're right now looking for people who want to shatter records and get to influencer 5K, 10K and above. So ladies and gentlemen, that was our residual. Take a look at our level advance bonus. These are one-time bonuses paid out for hitting the positions. On your way to influencer 200K, we have over 5.2 million in upfront bonuses. Up to influencer 1000, it gets paid out for just hitting the position one time. From influencer 5K to 75K, you got to maintain that position for at least 3 months, and it doesn't have to be consecutive months. It's just 3 times in your career of GPS. From influencer 100K to 200K, you got to maintain total 5 months, but the breakdown works like that. 40% will get paid out after 3 months, another 30% after 4 months, and another 30% after 5 months. Here's all I know. Imagine this taking you 5 years to get it done. Or let's just say 10 years to get it done. Where else do you know within 5 to 10 years, you could get an upfront bonus of over $5 million and have an opportunity to earn multiple 6 figures a month? Now understand this, I never said it's easy. If anyone tells you getting rich is easy, they're lying to you. Run away from those people. But I'll tell you one thing, it'll be worth it. And it's a simple business because all we do is enroll people into the system and have people follow the system and have the system go to work for them. And that's what we've been able to do in the last few months. GPS has been operating worldwide as a company. Over 30,000 people joined this company already. Over $4 million in commissions have been paid out to the influencers of this company. And Mr. Danny Bay, our chairman and founder, said less than 10% of the business plan has been revealed to the public. You have no idea where we're going, what is coming, and what is about to happen. So the final few things I'll share with you is the domestic and global pool. 1% of the volume will get distributed to all the people from 10K to 75K. Here's the breakdown of how it works. For the global pool, it'll be from 100K and 200K. Here's the breakdown how it works. And obviously, you're not going to fully understand it, but just know one thing. The more you stay qualified and the higher rank you are, the more points you get so you can get the bigger piece of the revenue. But as of now, we don't have anyone in the whole world of GPS at any of these positions. So the revenue pool is just building up, building up, building up. Number 8 way we get paid is only for new people in their first 12 weeks, which everybody qualifies right now, is the company will pay us 30% more on GIM bonus in your first 12 weeks. So as an example, in your first 12 weeks, if you earn $10,000 in the group influencer marketing bonus, you'll get an additional $3,000 just because you're brand new. It's an incentive, so all of us work harder our first 12 weeks and go at it our first 12 weeks. And it also works for the sponsor match for the first 12 week as well. These are the retreats, but I don't want to spend too much time talking about retreat, only because obviously there's a pandemic going on, and with the travel restriction, dates have all been changed. So we'll keep you posted, but just know one thing. We want everybody their very first 30 days to set a goal. And it's on the launch document as well. It's not easy, but you should set a goal to go for Influencer 1000 your very first 30 days. Every speaker on this call have done it, leading by example, because it's not that difficult. You know, I was always taught to aim high and miss versus aiming low and hitting. That's Mr. Les Brown, one of our partners in VRLU. So Influencer 1000 your first 30 days just means 10,000 volume on your left and on your right, and you can get aggressive by taking full advantage of an additional bonus we have that's ending in 9 days. Miss Miranda, Alicia talked about it. We have 9 days for all influencers. You can sponsor as many people as you want, but if you have at least 2 on the left, 2 on the right, you get an additional 250. That if you go for Influencer 1000 your first 30 days and qualify for the 250 bonus, you could generate 3,000 or more your very first 30 days. So trust me when I tell you this. Tell the person that invited you down, tell your sponsor leaders, ask your upline influencer 1Ks and above, put me on a game plan. I want to become an Influencer 1000 before this month ends. I want to do it my very first 30 days, and we will help you put a plan together which each and every single one of you can accomplish that as a goal. So what I want to do now is bring up a gentleman who's going to share with you our products and how it is that we get customers. And there's nobody better to go over this information than the next gentleman, because I knew this gentleman the last few years, even in our previous company. He's someone that has been recognized as a top earner, top producers numerous times, and his wife and him right now are helping us not only expand here in the United States, but also in Japan. He's also a partner with a huge VR company. He understands virtual reality better than anybody I know in GPS. So it is my honor now to introduce you guys a great friend, a great leader, Mr. Robert Griffin. Thanks for being on the call.
Thank you so much, Mr. On. It's always a pleasure, sir. I remember watching you grow as a man and grow as an entrepreneur. It's just been unbelievable to see how you have grown the way you have, sir. And to be able to share the call with you and the amazing lineup here is just a true honor. So thank you so much for the kind words, sir. I tell everybody every time I start this, they put me here to give the rest of you guys hope because, Mr. On is so polished and so good, and Miranda is so good, and David is so good, and all the other trainers are so good. I said they need, because sometimes when they're so good, it's a little intimidating, you know what I'm saying? So they put me here to give you guys hope. So my background comes from law enforcement. In fact, I was a police officer for many, many years. And just like adversity hit David and he had to adjust, right? Michael had adversity hit him. And that's kind of a funny thing. Many of us who have achieved levels of success in the direct sales industry, we did it out of necessity because we were birthed out of adversity. And that's one of the things that I would say that simply to say this. If you're struggling right now during this pandemic and you've been praying for an opportunity or looking for a ticket, right, to dig out of a hole, you have 100% found it, man. You found yourself a golden ticket. And so I would just ask you to do one simple thing, just take it serious, right? And because if you do, then you can go out and win in big ways. And he talked about the compensation plan. My gosh, they pay 8 different ways. How many of you get paid 8 different ways at your job? You know what I'm saying? Like when I was a police officer, we get paid either regular time or overtime. That's it. So 2 ways. Maybe you work in sales and you can get like salary plus commission and maybe a bonus. Wow, that's 3 ways. But get paid 8 different ways. And the ability to go get paid like profit sharing of a company, man, that is just mind boggling to me. So just know you're in the right place at the right time. Just do your part, do the work. And when you do that, you're going to see the results will come. It gets really, really fun. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to, oops, hit the wrong. Okay, guys, I can't share my slides. So whoever is, oh, hold on, stand by. Got it. Disregard. Got it. Okay. So anyway, good to go. Okay, so my job here today is talk about customer acquisition, but also maybe to educate you on the VR industry. Like Mr. An alluded, I am the VP of sales for a VR company now. And so I have a little bit more insight than say the average person or even some of the haters that are out there. Because I know I've seen some people, some acquaintances of mine that have been talking smack about the VR industry. You know what that tells me? That tells me they just don't understand or they're just flat out ignorant because the demand right now for the VR industry and the ways that it is changing our world is mind-boggling. And talk about a growth curve that looks like a hockey stick. It is insane what is going on. I don't know if you are friends with me on Facebook. You may have noticed the last couple of weeks, I've been flying every other day. I leave again on Tuesday because VR demand is at an all-time high right now. Like it's crazy. And so my goal here today is to, 1, educate you a little bit on the industry. And then number 2, to give you some tips and tricks how you can go out and get customers. Because ultimately in your GPS business, if you don't have customers, you don't really have a business. So the goal here would be to learn about it, And when I got involved in VR a few years ago, I was ignorant to VR. I had no clue, but you know what I did? I did what most won't do, and I started doing my own research. I started digging, and as I learned more, I got more valuable, and then, of course, my stock started to rise, and I would ask you to do the same thing. Take it serious and study the technology. Find out where it came from, and more importantly, where we're headed, which is a great segue here because, technology has been evolving at a dramatic pace. In fact, I'm going to tell you right now, guys, the world that you and I live in today with this amazing webcams and microphones and laptops and all these cool little things, like the setup I have here is a pretty nice little setup. But I'm gonna tell you, this is gonna be nothing 5 years from now. Like this type of communication that you and I are doing 5 years from now, it's gonna be completely different. Because think about what's happened just in the last 10 years with cell phone technology. I remember when phones were just for making phone calls, right? And then with the advent of the smartphone, and then, 4G hit and changed everything. I'm telling you right now, as sure as we're sitting here, 5G is going to make our world dramatically different. Like not even a little bit compared to what we are here today, because we're going to be able to do things that you and I could only think about or watch in a sci-fi movie. That's coming literally in just a couple of years. What an amazing time to be alive, right? So we talk about VR and how it has evolved. It started back in 1980. It was really bad back then, okay? A company called Atari started with it, and then Sega got on board, and then they built this thing called a cube room, which is, it's not really virtual reality. It's a projector-based system with some screens, and it allows you to go in there and you kind of feel like you're there, right? But it's certainly not virtual reality. Then if Facebook got involved a couple of years ago, they dropped $2 billion. So thank you, Facebook. We really appreciate that because you kind of were the cornerstone of getting this industry off in a big, big way. Samsung got involved. Google made a thing called the cardboard VR. Here's another thing too. When you're talking to your friends and you're trying to pique people's interest about GPS, ask them a simple question. Say, have you ever tried virtual reality? They're either going to say yes or no. And then you have to clarify that and say, well, what type of VR have you tried? Like I was at a presentation for my other VR company 2 days ago up in Wisconsin. And I said, how many of you officers have tried VR? And a few of them raised their hand. And I said, well, what'd you do? They said, well, I got the cardboard VR, which is basically you getting cardboard thing, putting your phone inside of it and staring at your cell phone. Folks, that's not virtual reality, okay? You need special lenses, special processors, special refresh rates, a lot of tech in there to make a real VR work. And so what I found, what people thought they knew about VR, they really didn't. They tried a ghetto knockoff version, or maybe they had bad content. That's why I say that you need to make sure when you travel, I do not leave my house without my Pico G2, because if I have the opportunity to put that on someone's head and watch them go, wow, it's game over from there, right? I already mentioned about how Facebook got involved. Apple is getting ready to release its VR headset. If they stay on time, they're supposed to release it in the fall of this year. Sorry, not VR, augmented reality headset. So, which is really, really exciting. If you don't know the difference between VR is a Pico G2, right? VR is like you being immersed into an artificial world where you have sound, you have visuals, but you can't see outside of that headset. And I know a lot of you guys keep calling it goggles. And I'm not trying to be mean or rude, but if you want to sound professional, like you're talking to VR professionals, don't ever call it goggles, because that's not what it is. It's called a VR headset or an augmented reality headset. That's what the term is in the industry. Anyway, so they're going to be releasing theirs. They're going to absolutely change technology when these things start to roll out, because augmented reality is not fully immersive. It's different. It's a lens that you can see through, almost like a pair of sunglasses, but it allows through technology for them to superimpose images in front of you that's going to allow you and I to go shop in ways we never even dreamed of before. And I'm going to tell you, the industry, like I alluded to in the very beginning, it is ridiculous what is happening right now. I wish I could share all the stories with you. We just don't have time, but I can tell you about there's certain companies that are investing hundreds of millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars in VR because they see the future. Augmented reality, VR is our future. And I don't need you to debate it. I don't need you to try to argue with me. Here's what I would just ask you to do. Stay tuned. Check back with us 6 months from now, 12 months from now, when the things are exploding and GPS is breaking records around the world. That's what I tell the naysayers. I don't need you to believe me. Just stay tuned. Okay. So VR, we talked about the industry already. It's already at 30 billion, anticipated to go over 800 billion. Folks, I'm telling you, these numbers were prior to pandemic. These were prior to everybody being locked down. I'm telling you right now, demand is way bigger than these numbers would show you. And I'm gonna tell you the reason why is because not only is it being used for training, virtual reality is also being used for therapy. Like right now, we're training law enforcement, we're training the military, but you know, there's a lot of studies out there. Go Google it, man. Go Google virtual reality for therapy, virtual reality for training. And you're gonna see tons of websites popping up, tons of studies. There's even white pages out there, which are official published studies that tell you statistically that when people train in a virtual reality environment, they will actually retain 40% more information. Like you should have seen, I was just in Wisconsin, right? I put the headset on this officer over there and he pulls it off. He goes, oh my God, I cannot believe this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. We have that happen every single time you put people in these headsets. And it's not just for training, it's also for treatment. You know, there are a ton of soldiers and police officers out there that suffer from PTSD. If you don't know what that stands for, it's post-traumatic stress disorder. In fact, to some degree, I have it as well. In fact, I tell you, anyone who's been an officer or a soldier for 10 plus years, they probably have some form of PTSD. There are studies and hospitals out there that are training these men and women who've paid a price, first responders or soldiers, and it's helping them combat PTSD. How awesome is that, right? It's just going to further validate the direction of where we are heading. And then big companies are getting involved, guys like Walmart and KFC, and there are literally hospitals that are training their students to do surgery using virtual reality technology. Why? Because it's cost effective, it's better, and it's a lot less troublesome than bringing in a cadaver and doing surgery the way they used to do, right? So you're going to see it replace a lot of traditional forms of training, traditional forms of education, because it's just so immersive and it's so next level. And I think that really excites me, Mr. On alluded to this as well, EBP commerce, man. See, I'm gonna tell you right now, as awesome as VR Lou is, love it. I'm a big fan of VR Lou. As awesome as Pico G2 is, awesome. I'm a big fan. What really freaks me out is EBP commerce, experience before you purchase. We having the ability to go shop and buy those Christmas presents, like he said, and then get these products out that people want. See, what most direct sales companies do is they create a product and they grab that product, hand it down to their distributors and go, hey, here, go sell this stuff, right? We're gonna be able to go offer people things they really, really want to have, things they can't live without. And you and I are going to be able to get paid on it. I'm telling you, man, fasten your seatbelts and get ready for EBP commerce. Now, we're going to also be involved in the automotive industry. Imagine being able to go car shopping virtually, right? How awesome is that? That's coming soon as well. It's going to be really, really exciting. But the bigger piece here for me, guys, is how we can use VR for educational purposes and for therapy, which happens a lot now in the real world. In fact, even that Pico G2 that you have, and if you haven't gotten one yet, shame on you, you should have one, or you're in the VR business, right? That will be able to help people in many, many ways you probably never have even thought of. For obviously education, the VR Lou Virtual Reality Learning University is next level. We'll talk about that more here in a second. But then VR for therapy is being done in many, many worlds. Like they're doing it for all types of therapy. So what am I talking about? There are studies out there at Cedars-Sinai Hospital where they're helping people get over PTSD. Pain management, like for people who have chronic pain, they put them in one of those relaxing VR experiences where they have the audio, they have the visual, and they can just get away. Like get away. How many Americans do you know are stressed out right now? How many of you parents, anybody raise your hand, having to homeschool your kids right now and it's driving you crazy? Isn't it nice to know that we can go take a virtual vacation? Yeah, thank you for that. I know there's a lot of us that are dealing with that. Like, please, God, open the schools, okay? Pain management. Depression is another biggie because what happens, and I can tell you as a former first responder, I've been on many a crime scenes where depression ended really bad. Wouldn't it be nice to know that we could have empowered somebody with a tool so they could have fought it? You know, they actually use VR now to fight autism or to help children with autism get better social skills prior to going out into the real world where they're going to face scrutiny. Isn't that an amazing thing? I just love that about this. Body dysmorphic disorder, if you don't know what that means, Google it. But there are a lot of people who struggle with their own image and they're using VR to help those folks as well. People with ADD or OCD, they're helping them battle even addiction using therapy and virtual reality. So you might be asking, well, how does that play into GPS? It validates the space that we're headed. And when you educate the consumer, because ultimately, what's our goal? To get as many of these headsets out there, to get as many subscribers onto VR Lou and our other products and services coming soon as fast and furious as we can. And when people say VR, they think, well, it's just for gaming. How can it help me? I'm not a gamer. Well, hey, do you ever get stressed out? Are you in pain? Would you like to have a virtual getaway? I'm telling you, man, you go find people who find these lists. And there's also good for fighting phobias. There's an app in there, go look it up, man. You can literally put on your VR headset and it helps you fight all types of phobias. I hate spiders. Anybody here hate spiders? There's a VR program where you can literally put your headset on and watch spiders crawl onto your arm. Like, how many of you want to try that one? Or if you're in fear of heights, there's one called the plank. And you buy a piece of wood and you can, it's freaky, bro. But anyway, go look these things up and you'll find out there's many, many more ways for you to use your Pico than you probably have thought of. So when you think outside the box a little bit, it's going to open up your vision for more types of customers. Who can we help? Who can we blast? Because not everyone is going to want to come and build a business, but I'm telling you, once they try it, they're going to want to buy it. That's why I would even suggest this. Maybe you as an entrepreneur, you might want to have another extra Pico or two on hand in case, you know, because we know there's some shipping delays right now. Like, for example, my wife and I ordered a couple. If I have a customer who wants one now, I have it ready. Here you go. Or maybe I signed up a brand new influencer and they're like so excited and I'm a little worried about maybe the shipping delay. So I can say, hey, look, here, go ahead and sign up, order your Pico. When yours comes in, you can swap it out, but I'm going to give you one right now so they don't have to wait. You know what I'm saying? So then they can start to enjoy it and get really, really fired up about their business. This is the home screen for your Pico G2. Many of you have already seen this. This alone freaks people out. Like when I first put the headset on them, I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, bro, that's just the startup screen. Okay? Wait till you try the real stuff. Now, if you want to learn more about your Pico, which I strongly suggest you do, go into your back office, go to the influencer library, go to your customer tools, and then download the Pico G2 user guide. It gives you everything you would need to know about your Pico, how you can expand the memory, 256 gigs with a micro SD card. It doesn't have to be 256. I think I put a 16 gig card in mine because that's still a ton of storage. And then it just educate you on where the buttons are, how they work. I do suggest using the remote when you demo it because that's a better experience for the customer or potential customer than using the buttons on the side. You can use the buttons on the side, but the remote gives them a little bit more, a better experience. So just make sure you're doing that. And I would strongly suggest, sorry, I got a wayward eyelash. I would strongly suggest that you also get yourself a good set of Bluetooth or just good set of headphones to go with your Pico. Because as awesome as the Pico is, the speakers are right here and not here, right? So I want the sound going directly in their ears. It gives them a much more immersive experience. So get yourself a nice set of Bluetooth or traditional headphones. So when you're doing your demos, man, they will disappear. Like I was doing a demo just a couple of days ago. I put the Pico on the guy, put the headphones on the guy, and I started asking him questions. And he wasn't listening to me. He couldn't hear me. He was just gone. He went into a VR, and we did the Apollo 11 experience where you're in a rocket and you go land on the moon. Go check that one out on VR. Really awesome. Now, like I said before, though, as awesome as Pico is, as awesome as where we're at today, EBP commerce is coming very soon, folks. Using the technology of augmented reality, you're going to do things like spawn a watch on your wrist or put a shirt on or put a suit on, see yourself in a virtual mirror and literally experience before you purchase. Like pick that couch and set it down and you can see it in your living room, even though it's not really there. I would ask you this. When EVP Commerce gets here, do you want to have a team of 5 or 50? Or 50 or 500? So that when all those distributors go out and start gathering customers and getting their Christmas presents and doing all the things that we're going to be doing in just a few months, don't you want to cash in big? And that ultimately breaks down to you just going out and telling the world about your business. Now, I think one of the biggest issues we have right now is people don't understand the value of VRLU. If you haven't gone in there and become a student of these classes and downloaded this content, you really are missing out. Because I'll be honest with you, there were a few of them I'm thinking, well, I have no idea what cosplay is. I was kind of ignorant. I had no clue what it was. And then I thought I would never, ever click on that. But I decided, you know what the heck? Let me just try it and see, even though it may not be something I'm interested in. But you guess what I found out? Inside there, that young lady tells about how she went from being brand new and then built herself a massive following on social media. Don't you think that would be of value to you? I bet many of you haven't even clicked on her class. You had no clue, right? And so there's a lot of masters in there that can help you in ways that maybe you didn't even realize. So I would suggest go in there and download the content. You'll find as you start to see some of these trainings, you're going to want to see more and want to see more. And my own shameless plug, I filmed with the VRLU team a few months ago. And for many years, guys, I was an undercover detective. And I used to train lie detection courses to the Nevada State Bar Association, to our own police academy. And I teach you how to read people, body language, micro expressions, crazy stuff that you've never thought of. Wouldn't it be neat to be able to learn how to tell when someone is lying? Go check out my course. It's in VRLU. I think they've already released the first 3 or 4. So go check it out. If you like it, let me know. Shoot me a little message on social media. I'd appreciate that. This is our lineup right here for the United States. They have an amazing lineup in Korea, and they're getting ready to start production for tons of amazing content coming out of Japan that is absolutely going to blow your mind. Now, the foreign language stuff, some of them are already subtitled. Many are coming soon on the subtitles. But just be patient. The team is working vigorously. Wait till you see some of the crazy stuff they're going to be rolling out here in just the next couple of months. Like I mentioned earlier, VRLU is not just master classes. It also has some games. They just launched a new kids channel. Have you seen it? Have you gone into your headset? Have you updated it? Because if you haven't, you're missing out. And coming very, very soon, I'm not sure if it's already available today, but the karaoke content is coming on. As soon as that does, man, get ready. The Griffins are going to be hosting a karaoke party, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we'll put the details on social media so you guys can all come join us. And we're going to have an absolute blast. Now, VRLU, if you were to go out and try and purchase these courses, like the class that I teach, I used to go train other law enforcement agencies. I would charge them $500 per seat. $500 per seat to come in and learn about lie detection, body language, interview, and interrogation, right? $500 one time, right? Here, I'm sure the other trainers have similar costs, probably even a lot more than that. Think about how much it would cost to get Mr. Les Brown to train you privately. I'm just telling you, man, you don't realize the value you have in your hands. So dig in there, appreciate the fact that it's only $99 a month, all unlimited, unlimited access as many times as you want. And if you're going to be out doing demos, here's what I would strongly suggest. Download some content through your VR Lou app so that you have it available offline. How Mr. Bay sold Rob Griffin. I was at his house in Las Vegas. He goes, Rob, you love MMA, right? I said, absolutely, I do, sir. He goes, well, check this out. And he gave me the Pico key, put it on their head, man. Put it on their head. And he said, check this out. I was standing inside the octagon learning MMA from a professional UFC coach, and that my mind just exploded. Oh, my God. And I'm telling you, if you're doing what the work is demo and then asking 2 simple questions. Hey, man, have you ever tried virtual reality? If they say yes, quantify that. Is it the good stuff or are they getting ghetto, VR, right? Because if they try ghetto VR, they might think VR is bad. And I said, man, you need to try the real deal. You need to try a real quality headset with real quality content, okay? And then after they say, oh my God, or wow, they say, look, isn't this amazing technology? Yeah, it is. If there were a way for you to make money using this, would you want to hear more about it? That's it, folks. 3 questions. Have you ever tried VR? Wow, yeah, wasn't that amazing? Yeah. And then if there were a way to make money using this technology, would you want to hear more? You know what's going to happen? Many people are going to tell you yes. And then you can start sorting, not selling, and then get your team running in a massive way and get your team growing the way you want it to be so you and I can cash in and have the greatest Christmas ever. You know, they say champions are birthed out of adversity. Right. And so what an amazing time. I see all these challenges in life and I travel quite a bit and I see people all over the world scared out of their mind. You know what that tells me? Adversity. We're going to rise like a phoenix, man. It's going to be great. So my part here is done. I get to bring on an amazing leader. You've heard from her already once today, but watching her is amazing because you could tell, like, she's so polished. Like, you can tell she's like a TV personality, unlike this ugly old dude right here. And so to see her now and to give her the first big golf clap for your promotion, Miranda, we're so proud of you. So please welcome to the call, the one and only Miss Miranda Alicia. The call's all yours, man.
Thank you so much, sir. And you're the one who's so cool. You know everything about virtual reality, and just hearing your background, you're so cool. When I grow up, I want to have your knowledge. So thank you for those kind words, and honestly for that unbelievable training. And you know what I love most about this company is that we have the chance to learn from the experts themselves. Mr. Rob Griffin, you're always so informative and so creative when you're teaching. You never disappoint. So thank you so much for everything that you do here for all of us in GPS. And hello again, everyone. My name is Miranda, Alicia. You heard about my background in the beginning. Prior to GPS, I was a full-time TV producer and co-host for a Texas travel TV show. And, I was in that for the last 7 years. But before getting into the industry, this industry 2 years ago, if you were to really look at my life from an outside perspective, you would think that I was happy being on TV, living in this limelight. But the reality was, I wasn't. I was looking for an opportunity where I had the potential to where I could, make more and, do more with my future in my life, which led me to be a part of GPS. And I share this with you because, it doesn't really matter a person's background, age, or occupation. You never know who is looking for an opportunity unless you ask. So if you're tuning in still, it's because you want to grow your business and earn more income. So for the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you a few team building techniques that led me to get where I am today. So you guys can instantly see massive growth when building your team. So, and just know when it comes to building a team, the key to recruiting is quality communication, consistency, and building relationships. Okay. It would be difficult to succeed in any business if you're not consistently talking to people, sharing what you're doing, whether it's, in person or through social media. It's called network marketing for a reason. You got to network in order to build your net worth, right? Just like social media, it's free. Why have it if you're not going to be social? And speaking of social media, my Instagram handle is on the screen, Miranda Alicia TV. If you have any questions about this topic, I would be happy to help you one-on-one. So go ahead and shoot me a message. And, when you think about building a team, let's really put it into perspective. Every successful organization recruits individuals, you know, the NBA, the MLB, the NCAA, you know, they're always recruiting, looking for their next star player. So you look at major corporations, you know, they spend millions of dollars on human resources where every year they're recruiting. You know, for all the women on this call, guess what? You're a natural recruiter. It's in our DNA. So this is a business that you can really thrive in. So men, recruit up, get a woman on your team. Not only are we hardworking, but we just naturally know how to relate and communicate with people. So you see now the importance of recruiting, because building a team is really the only way for you to create a successful, lasting organization. Now, before you go out there and start building a team, it's good to understand a few basics. So I'm going to share with you our proven system to help you build a team. So if you're new in this business, the only thing that you need to focus on is step one. Simply give the invitation. Okay, the last thing you want to do is pick up the phone and fire hose the person that you're talking to, meaning you blast them with every bit of knowledge you know about the company, the products, and the services, because there's a certain time and place for that. And it's called a presentation. And that's step two, which your leader will help you do the presentation for your guests. So you don't want to, blend the invitation with the presentation. And step three, after the new person enrolls, your leader will also help them get their business going and help them with the proper training. And all you have to do is just keep repeating this process until you're confident enough to present on your own. So now, what's the first step when it comes to inviting? Okay, number one, you have to construct a list of everyone you know, your friends, your family, your coworkers, your neighbors. Start with a list of 100+ names. And keep in mind, the bigger the list, the bigger the team you're able to build. So don't limit your contacts, okay? Get creative, reach out to everyone, utilizing your social media platforms. And most importantly, when creating your list, never prejudge, okay? Take my story, for example. From the outside, it seemed I was happy and successful, but inside I was needing an extra source of income. So if Mr. Mark Isaac had prejudged me in the beginning, I really wouldn't be where I am today, and he would have missed out on having someone on his team, with a strong desire. So you never know, the person who you decide to skip could be the next superstar on your team. So if you're serious about building a business, ask yourself, did you make a list of everyone you know without prejudging? And does the size of your list match the reason why you want to succeed? If it doesn't, then make a bigger list, okay? Next, these are some strategies that will really make a huge difference in your ability to attract people to see your business. First things first, you've got to have enthusiasm, okay? It's not what you say, it's how you make people feel about what you say, okay? Remember, excitement creates excitement, okay? Are you bringing excitement in your voice when you talk to people? If you come from the heart with a true passion for what you're doing, you're going to get people's attention naturally. Also be urgent and exclusive. Are you inviting with urgency and, making the events exclusive? Being urgent is so crucial, because remember, your first 2 people you sponsor are going to override half of your organization. So after those 2 spots are filled, everyone else who joins your team will have to go underneath. So for me, my two spots were my family members, because they're important to me and I want them to be first in my business, okay? And also edify the presenter. When inviting, are you talking more about the person or more about the product, okay? Because the reality is, people join people. They join leadership. People they know that they can trust. And also show confidence, never beg, okay? If someone says no, don't take it personal. We're sorting for people who are interested, okay? Your goal isn't to convince people. It's simply just to share the opportunity. And this is so important, this next one. When you invite, keep it simple. less is more. Spend 1 minute with 100 people, not 100 minutes with one person. Okay, don't overwhelm them with so much information on the first phone call. Just simply ask, ask for their time. If they, have a minute to check out a quick presentation, say enough to grab their attention and capture their imagination, and leaving them with wanting more. Okay, and lastly, timing is everything. The T in timing is more important than the T in talent. It can be the right person you're talking to, but if it's the wrong time for them, they're not going to show any interest. You can say everything right, but it's just not the right time for them. And that's okay. Keep that relationship with them and follow up with them later on. The biggest advice that I ever received in my career was the fortune is in the follow-up, meaning a no now could mean a yes in the future. And you know what? Go ahead and ask them for referrals. Ask, who do you know that would benefit from this opportunity? It doesn't hurt to ask, but it could hurt if you don't. So always keep that in mind. And since it's difficult for all of us to meet in person, one of the most powerful ways to build your business is through what we're on now is a private Zoom presentation, okay? And the great part is there's ongoing Zoom presentations happening throughout the week in all major markets your guests can plug into. So the goal is to invite as many people as possible. This is so you can have a higher sign-up ratio, meaning the more exposures you have, the higher the chances you have on having someone sign up. And right after your guests see a presentation, you want to follow up with them right away. Don't wait for hours or days to give them a phone call asking, hey, so what did you think? You want to follow up with them immediately and enroll anyone who wants to join the business right then and there, okay? I recommend moving as fast as possible while their excitement is high and they're ready to join your team. So have urgency when following up with people. Now, what do you say in an invitation? Okay, there's so many inviting scripts that work for each person, but this is one that has been proven to work. It's, worked for me. It has helped so many of the leaders here on the call. It's really helped them build massive teams, mainly because they've said it with enthusiasm and urgency, which got them to see great results, And I love this because being in TV, we script out everything. We do that because, one, we're prepared, and two, so we don't say the wrong thing. So when I saw that we had this for us to use, it helped me tremendously. It was quick, it's simple, it's straight to the point, and it says enough to attract their attention. So if you want, go ahead and take a photo of this, take a screenshot, save this. And my recommendation for you is just to follow this structure. And you know what? Practice with your leader. Trust me, practice will lead to perfection. Reading this script at least, 5 to 10 times so it will come out natural to you. Once you knock out your first several calls, you'll eventually get good enough to not even need a script. Then you can customize one that best suits you. And to share with you a few pro tips, the most effective way is by making a phone call, okay? Don't send a text message, okay? One, it's not personable, and two, you'll have a quicker response over the phone rather than having, waiting for the other person to, message you back. So pro tip number one, just pick up the phone, give them a call. And after you've given the presentation or invitation for them to see a presentation, you also need to follow up with them at least once. Give them a reminder call right before the event starts. This is a great way to solidify their commitment to being on the call. And last pro tip that I have for you is expect about half of the people who say yes to actually show up. Why? It's just the way it is. You know, something last minute will happen. So always overshoot by inviting more people than you expect to show. Okay. So now that you've learned a few basics on how you can successfully build a team, you know, now it's really time for you to take your business to the next level. You know, right after this, make your list, start inviting for our upcoming events so you can get promoted this coming week. And now I have the privilege to bring up our final trainer for today. You heard his background in the beginning. You know, this gentleman is right now currently top ranked influencer in all of GPS USA. He has a record of building huge, successful organizations all around the world. And that's just because he's mastered all of these topics, including this next topic called promoting events. So to close this out, let's welcome back to the call, Mr. Michael On.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Miss Miranda. Oh, what a great recruiting training you've done. Not only to share great information, but you're a testament to what's possible building it virtually. I think you're getting close to 700-800 business partners already in your team. We're just proud of you. And right now you're leading the charts as the boss lady here in the US. So thank you and appreciate you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to wrap up our training. I know we got some great information today from our leaders. I'm so excited for all of you because you never know when it is you're going to share your story, just like many of these leaders did, and be a testament to what's possible by simply following the system. And like I said at the very beginning when I spoke earlier, we don't expect the first timers on this call to fully understand GPS system yet. You know, Miss Miranda went over recruiting. Mr. Robert Griffin went over our product. You know, I went over our compensation plan. Mr. Nieves went over how to have the proper entrepreneur mindset, and it can be overwhelming. But like I said, this isn't like any other job you ever had before or a traditional business where you got to figure everything out and then take action. No, this is earn and learn. This is learn and earn. You just take simple steps at a time, and the way you could earn money and the way you could have a massive team is by learning the topics. But this topic, in my opinion, is the most important because you don't have to understand fully about how virtual reality headset works. I could promise you one thing, Mr. Griffin understands it way more than me. I still ask him for advice every single time I have questions. I could promise you one thing, Mr. David Nieves read way more books than I did and listened to way more personal development than I did, in my opinion, because when he speaks, you know, it's literally, I hear all the books he's read, you know, but one thing we can benefit as a team is if we master promoting events, our team can grow and learn from the best of the best while we're learning ourselves. You know, that's what happened to me in my career 15 years ago plus. Never done anything like this before. But I was fortunate, my very first 12 months in this industry, I earned a six-figure income, not from me ever being in front of the room, not from me being the guy who ever trained. All I was a testimonial that a new person can do it if they just get good at getting people enrolled in the system. So how do we get people enrolled? You got to be non-negotiable, non-debatable. See, I don't convince anybody to join ever because you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it, right? But what I do is if they once join the business, I will do anything and everything and get them enrolled to all the events the leadership has. If they have a personal development a training they're doing together, I get my people there. If there's a Tuesday presentation done by Mr. whoever or Mrs. whoever, I get them there. If there's a Friday night leadership like we just did yesterday, an Influencer 100 leadership meeting with Mr. Danny Bay, I got my people promoted and got them there. When there's a Saturday training like this, I was non-negotiable, non-debatable, and got people to these trainings because the training events build your business. It says 5 M's. More meetings means more money. It unlocks potential. You never know which meeting, which training it is that gives people the aha moment. For me, my first company I worked with in 2005, I remember going to every Saturday training. And it was like the 8th or 9th one of hearing the same message, the same training. But I don't know what it was. That training just went boom, light bulb in my head. And I had a breakthrough. That is why it's so important, because the training you miss can be the training that gives you the breakthrough. And here's the difference. In our company, every breakthrough you have, you're getting closer to making your goals and your dreams become a reality. And it's events that always builds belief and energizes and recharges your team. I don't care what kind of mega super phone crazy stuff you got. Even our cell phone needs to be charged, right? Our laptop needs to be charged. There's a saying that if you're having massive success, the meeting needs you. If you're somebody that's struggling at the very beginning, guess what? You need the meeting, because the meeting is for everybody. It is what we do. And you got to always leverage the excitement and take action. Miss Miranda said it the best. Strike the iron while it's hot. Right after this call, get together with your uplines for 5-10 minutes, game plan, strategize with them, and set up your PBR. And always remember, build event to event, and momentum is created by teaching your team how to increase headcount. I'll promise you one thing. Eventually, when you have 10 people on your left, 10 people on your right, plugging into trainings like this, staying in the system like this, and following the system, you're automatically going to get promoted to influencer 1,000, 2,500, eventually to 5,000. You know, when you eventually have like 25 people on your left, 25 people on your right, 50 on your left, 50 on your right, and the more you have, and eventually when we have 1,000 people in our Saturday trainings locally or domestically, can you imagine what kind of position you and your team's going to hit and how much money you guys are going to be able to make together? That's going to be insane. So here's the good news. We got some major events coming up in the next 9 days as we close out this month. And this is something I want you guys to take a look at because this will be a briefing and a presentation done by our chairman and founder, Mr. Danny Bay. The last time he did a meeting in the United States, an overview, I'm talking about the presentation, was our launch event on July 2nd, which means, or June 2nd. It's been over 2 months since he's done a briefing and a presentation of GPS in the United States. It's gonna be this Monday at 3 p.m. Hawaii time, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Central time, and 9 p.m. Eastern time, okay? That's gonna be the Zoom link to get on it. Trust me when I tell you this. If you ever wanted to lock arms with anybody, you're thinking about that person you want to have on your team, this will be the meeting you want them to plug into. If you have somebody that's been a green apple, who's on the fence, who's been thinking about it, this is the meeting you want them to get onto. If you have a chicken list, people that are extremely successful, people that you respect because they've accomplished so much in their life and they're financially set or they're influential and you've always been scared to talk to them, to invite them to a meeting, this is it. This is that meeting you don't want anyone to miss out on. If they could fog a mirror, get them on this call, because anybody who gets on this call and hears the vision and our presentation from the founder and chairman, Mr. Danny Bay himself, ladies and gentlemen, they will see it. They will see the vision. They will see the future with GPS and where we are going. That day right here in 48 hours, Monday, is going to be the event to take your business to the next level. Then we got our weekly meetings of Tuesdays, Thursdays, and our final Saturday training next month that I feel confident right now, 100% convinced that anybody on this call right now that's an influencer, whether you're new or you guys started with us since pre-launch, can all meet the requirement and get the August Fast Start bonus promotion of extra $250 in the next 9 days if you get them enrolled and see the presentation by Danny Bay. The 4 for $250, I know for some of us, it's not that much money. It's only $250. But here's what you got to realize. If we all commit and we commit to qualifying for that bonus, just like Mr. David Nieves said at the very beginning of his mindset training, it is going to create momentum. And that momentum is going to take your business to the next level. It's going to give you the great holidays to come, and it's going to definitely set you up to have the best 2020 and 2021 to come. I'm telling you guys right now, your goals and dreams are about to become a reality with GPS. Our future no longer is what it used to be. Get excited, get fired up, take action, and I can't wait to see all of you guys this Monday at our next VIP overview with Chairman and Founder, Mr. Danny Bay. Have a great weekend, guys. God bless you guys. We'll see you guys on Monday.